a couple bitcoins. Pull up on my Nakamoto.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Blockchain Dynamics Show.
Hello, hello, my name is Brandon Doach.
And I am Woody. It is Sunday, May 27th, 2018. And we're looking at episode number 95 today.
Episode number 95. Sorry, I just had some audio issues there. I'm broadcasting from the road today.
Yep.
So if there's any sound issues or the levels are off or something, just let us know in the chat, and we will work on fixing that.
That's right. The Road Show.
The Road Show. We were gone last week. This was my fault once again. I sustained a minor injury, and we were going to have Noose on. So Noose will be coming back. He's not here this week, but we will get Noose here one of these weeks.
Yep, looking forward to that for sure. And I'm glad you're feeling a little better, Brando.
Oh, top of my game. Just top of the world here.
All right.
Did we mention the wager giveaway yet?
Nope.
We are giving away another 250 of those wagers this week. That's thanks to blockaudit.org. They're the ones who threw those our way for us to give away. They do like code reviews, kind of services for code developers, I guess, smart contract audits, that kind of fun stuff. Consultations for developers. If that's the kind of thing that you might be interested in, check out blockaudit.org.
That's right. Last week we gave away some with the trivia question, on what date did Poloniex remove their chat feature? The answer to that was June 7th, 2017. And we'll ask another question somewhere halfway through the show today for someone to try to win.
Was that the beginning of the end for Polo?
I don't know. Was it the beginning of the end?
when they lost
the end of the
feature.
Beginning, all of that.
You could probably do it. You did a chart of their volume from that day. It's probably like straight down just about.
We'll also mention that this content is presented for entertainment purposes only and in no way is financial advice.
Yep. Wise words.
And with that, let's roll into the news.
Gotta love the news. The news is getting pretty similar week to week these days because it's just all about chain attacks.
Yep, chain attacks are pretty common. There was another Verge attack exploit. Pretty similar to the first one, it looks like, right? This person just managed to get all the blocks for some period of time.
Yeah, this poor Verge. It's like they have this weird algorithm. Not weird. I mean, it's been around for a while. I think Myriad was the first one that did it, but you can mine it with multiple different algorithms, and each one kind of has like an independent difficulty. So there's people out there plugging away on script. There's people plugging out there away on X whatever or something else. And what these miners managed to do is essentially 51% the attack by only using script. So they broke the ability of the algorithm to require that all of the algorithms participate. They're essentially just submitting all of the blocks with script, and it allows them to essentially 51% the chain with far less than 51% of the hash. It's really a poor design. I really am surprised they haven't more aggressively tried to fork out of this situation.
Yep. So it looks like they got a lot of XVG out of this move, basically.
Getting all the XVG.
Yeah.
It's easy to read too much into that in the markets, but the sad truth of crypto is you don't even know who's getting the XVG. Like sometimes it's the same people that are pumping the coin up. Like
right, it's the largest. Could be the largest XVG miners anyway.
Yeah, the fun, weird, sad thing of crypto is some of the best gains that I've ever had in this game have come from exploited coins. And some of the biggest opportunities I missed is when I have gotten like exploit coins for one reason or another and then dumped them too low. I remember the first time this happened to me was Clean Water Coin. I think this was 2014 or 2015, but there's this coin, Clean Water Coin.
I remember that,
they had a bug, air quotes, in the source that suddenly caused the reward to go from like 10 to 171,000 just at some random block. And the pool I was on, IPO Miner, had a profitability tracker, and we saw it on the profitability tracker that the profitability had gone up like a bajillion %. So we mined the shit out of it. And I was just thinking, I got so much of this Clean Water Coin. I was like, all right, there's no way this thing could ever come back. This chain is done. Right. So I dumped them. It went from like 115 Satoshi to 3 Satoshi that day, and I dumped them all at 3 Satoshi. But then they hard forked out of it, and the next day it was back to 100 Satoshi, and I was like, oh, crap.
Yeah, that's classic.
Threw away a really easy 30x on it. But it's at the end of the day, it's not a Clean Water Coin. It's still a coin people are talking about.
No, exactly.
Like,
yeah.
you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, totally. For, in that type of scenario, you dumping those coins might have been part of what even caused that ridiculous rise the next day, or at least partially helped that to happen, so.
Yeah, they got to get their coins.
Got to get the coins. All right, so Verge got exploited and everything continues as normal.
Also, Bitcoin Gold took a 51% this week.
This one looks like the exchange took a brunt on it somehow.
These articles are the articles are dubious because they're like exchanges lose $19 million for Bitcoin Gold, but then that's the value of the Bitcoin Gold that was created. I have not yet seen.
Okay, that makes more sense.
It looks like they were able to deposit funds on exchanges.
Okay.
Oh, so they were sending funds to exchanges and then sending them back to their own accounts and then selling the exchange ones.
Well, but the only way that the exchange loses money in that case is if they reverse those transactions on their side, right? And gave it back to people. I don't know if that was occurring or whatever.
Yeah, this really is mostly notable to me because I think this is probably the highest market cap and highest hash rate chain to get a 51 attack.
They must have a pretty high hash rate, right? I have no idea. I'm not into Bitcoin Gold whatsoever.
You can with a Bitcoin fork, you can usually tell the hash rate by just. Oh wait, did Bitcoin Gold change the algorithm? Bitcoin Gold uses the Zcash algorithm, I think.
Okay.
I was thinking it was an SHA 256, like same as Bitcoin, but they might have changed the algo on it. Either way,
nobody's safe anymore whatsoever, and I think when we get to the new coins, we can talk about that more too. But there's so much mining power available now. It seems like people are just unleashing it everywhere.
And the attackers are better at these attacks than they used to be. They know how to do them with, more efficiently, monetize them, and reverse the blocks the way they need to and stuff. So I think that this is going to be a big, one of the big issues for 2018 is going to be all these attacks and security-related issues.
Well, but there were a lot last year, right? How many 51% attacks just get swept under the rug? I think that's probably the easier solution for most of them. But like you mentioned, with one like Bitcoin Gold, it's probably not even, because of the amounts of money involved, that's not going to happen.
Right, but a lot of the end result of all those old 51 attacks is all of those coins had to change their algorithms or switch to proof of stake.
That's true.
And so now that we're seeing the attacks hit higher and higher cap coins, like if something like Zcash gets a 51 attack, then there's no, they're already at the top of their own pyramid. So what do you change to at that point? And we haven't seen a 51 attack hit any of the flagship coins for any of the algorithms yet that I'm aware of. But if that's the point that it escalates to, we're going to be into a whole new era of shit. It's going to be really fun.
So that's kind of just talking about Bitcoin Gold getting 51%ed, and before that we were talking about Verge getting a similar attack. Also, we noticed that China released these crypto rankings a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, this is a little old news now, but China, this list is so funny. Let's see.
It's
20. They evaluated 28 cryptos.
Yeah.
The number one crypto.
They like Ethereum.
Ethereum. They love Steam. Where's EOS on there? Is it just all Dan Larimer?
No, I don't see EOS on there.
Maybe they didn't do EOS. Lisk is in there, then Neo and Komodo, of course. Komodo, I guess, would be the standout for me in that list. Maybe one that I wouldn't expect.
None of these are tokens. Maybe that's why. Maybe when EOS gets its chain, it can be on here. I don't know if that actually.
I thought Qtum was a token. Maybe it's not anymore. That's a good point, though.
But
looks like they mostly aren't tokens.
So yeah, it seems like I don't know this. They like a variety of coins.
Offhand, I don't have any huge objections with this list.
It's not a bad list. They're doing a pretty good job picking their coins.
I'd kind of like it if more governments wanted to do this, throw their hat into the ring and be like, these are the stupidest cryptos.
Well,
That'd be fun.
It is funny and noteworthy that Verge is on here, though. I remember people pointing that out, and I see it now.
Where's she at? It's ahead of. Oh, it's just behind Bitcoin. That's fine.
Yeah, that's kind of that almost seems like they're trolling or something there.
Yep.
But. Huh.
That's good. I hope they should just do these like every month. The Chinese government every month gives us shits all over some coins.
Every month? How about every 30 seconds? It just the algorithm spits out a new ranking. Yeah.
Yes, please.
That'd be sweet.
That's awesome. Live Chinese crypto rankings.
Yep. So, cool. I don't think much comes of this, but it's really fascinating that a government would decide to release this type of information, I guess.
Especially after, like a year ago, banning cryptos for the millionth time. Okay. Next up in the news this week, a very important segment here. We're trying to keep up with CZ, the chief executive of Binance Exchange.
Yeah, thankfully we had 2 weeks to work with here, because 2 weeks ago CZ was laying low key, it seemed like, but...
Even CZ needs a break sometimes, man.
Yeah, totally understandable. And this time he was seemed like he was at the African Blockchain Conference, which he said was an amazing event.
The African Blockchain Conference.
Yep.
Oh, there he is. I see him. Cool. All right. Kudos to you, CZ. Hope you had a good time there in Africa.
Definitely.
In Uganda.
He's spreading blockchain all over the world.
What a great guy. He's the Johnny Appleseed of cryptocurrency exchange executives. Alrighty. Thank you to CZ. The other thing that happened while we were gone as Consensus happened, but really this is not too much for us to say on Consensus. I feel like it's an impactful event for the people that are there and like networking and stuff, but I think that people think it's like this big event for the whole scene like broadly, and it tends to, I mean, at least as distant as I am maybe from the core of crypto, it tends to not affect me very much.
Well, would you rather go to Consensus or the Africa Blockchain Conference?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I would probably have more fun at the African Blockchain Conference, but maybe that blockchain.
So you're like a blockchain
thing.
Conference hipster a bit in a certain way.
I need to be. That's why I'm into new coins too. I've always been a coin hipster, man. I got to get in on it.
Yeah.
Before anybody else. What's the Burning Man of blockchain? Can we start that up?
Yeah, we need to. That's going to be in Decentraland somewhere, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a good. Need to get that spot of land.
Yeah, that'll only cost like $5 million for the chunk of Decentraland.
At this point, it'd be cheaper to get the actual desert that they do Burning Man in than try and get the equivalent desert in Decentraland.
All right. So, let's move on to the markets.
That'll do it for the regular news. Got to jump into the markets. Everyone's been having so much fun with the markets. Everyone's in such a good mood.
A lot of positivity.
Yeah, positive energy. People are just like working hard.
No, so everyone knows that markets have been rough. Downward pressure lately.
Twitter's really pissed off.
So let's look at some numbers. How does it look?
Everyone's jumping at each other.
How does it look by the numbers? We're going to look at a 2-week section here because we didn't have the show last week.
All right, so 2 weeks ago, since then, Bitcoin has dropped a cool $1,360. That's a good 16% drop, roughly.
Nice. Sweet.
So pretty gnarly. It's pretty rough 2 weeks for Bitcoin.
Yeah. Well, you know what I say, Brandon? If I didn't want to lose 15% of my money, I wouldn't have bought Bitcoin.
Yeah, these guys have no idea how much money we're willing to lose on this show.
Right. But no, that is steep, I guess, for sure.
It's steep, but we're still in this range. Like everything in this range just feels like bullshit at this point because we've been in the same range all year, you know. Yeah,
7K has basically been the floaty around spot for a long time.
So next week maybe we'll have something, you know, we should have some resolution of this little triangle here in some way by next week, but I guess we'll find out.
Either way, that chart will keep going, and we'll get to keep seeing what appears. That's always fun. Ethereum didn't do well either. Down from 563, and it lost 23%. Dang.
Rough. It's a $170 drop, so it must have been at like $730 last week or 2 weeks ago. That's bad. Bad news for Ethereum. ETH did bounce harder than the rest of them, but Ethereum's been getting a lot of bad press lately too, in addition to just the general, the broader market trends. I'm curious.
It gets bad press, but it'd be hard. From my perspective, it's still pretty much the premier smart contract platform as far as what people are developing for.
And it's got to be you and everybody else, right? The most interesting stuff that I'm seeing coming out this week, this is Ambroido actually showed me this article, but an article about some fundamental scaling limits on Ethereum that is happening with the nodes. People can't keep their nodes up anymore. And at first I was thinking like, well, if it's, 1 out of 100 people can't connect the node, then it's probably fine. It seems like it might be a larger number. Like I saw a tweet from Alistair about like a 40% drop in nodes, and then a lot of those are just light nodes that are doing only headers and stuff. So this issue of blockchain bloat on Ethereum might be coming to might become a major factor sooner than I would have guessed.
Interesting, yeah. Well, and also that dominance can shift pretty quickly too. If developers decide that there's another platform that they can move over to easily or quickly, then, you know, it doesn't take long. Same way that all those coins became tokens. Tokens can move chains, I imagine.
Everything moves fast. I mean, look how fast, you know, Polonix was in charge a year ago. Now they're basically like almost a ghost town. That's just exchanges. With the blockchains and stuff, the exact same thing could happen. You know, if it's easier for somebody to code CryptoKitties on Komodo, or, you know, and Komodo is able to do I'm just throwing that out there, then maybe they will. Like the catalyst for it won't be, apparently the catalyst for it won't be high transaction fees, because people seem to be pretty tolerant to that. It seems like it will be like a more broader scale network failure, like some people have suggested could be possible in the near future.
Sure.
And that was true with Polo too. Polo didn't actually lose their volume until their site went down. Remember, the site was down for like 2 weeks. You couldn't trade on it. That's when the volume first really shifted.
2 weeks, man. I don't remember that. That sounds like a long time too.
Polo was almost unusable for a really long time in the summer last year.
I do remember it getting incredibly slow and like unloadable. I probably just stopped using it and forgot that it was having that much trouble.
So anyway, going back to the markets, the broader markets, we're looking at the top 300 coins this week. Top 300 altcoins. Of that list, only 32 are up versus dollars. So we got 270 out of 300 down versus dollars, and we have 230 out of 300 down versus Bitcoin.
Ooh, that really makes me angry.
It's the first. It's the first sign of the bit of the bloodbath. Because last time we had the 5 weeks of green.
Yep.
And now we're on 3 weeks of red. So far the first week alts didn't tip too bad. Usually they're lagging a bit. So this last couple weeks they definitely got hit. But even then they're not doing as bad as I thought. The median is down about 12%, which is pretty substantial. But the average is only down about 1.4, which is the same thing we always talk about, where the pumps tend to push the average up relative to the median.
Right.
That's happening big time this week. Again.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Like, for what I would expect to be happening with alts right now, none of this seems that. Like, I don't think that this is a bad market for altcoins. It's a bad market for crypto, and everyone's getting sunk, but alts are doing all right, which would make me feel, in a bounce scenario, that's bullish. But the way the chart's looking, it's also possible that bounce scenario might not be for a long time.
Right. That's always a possibility. No idea how long things can take. But I agree with you that in general, altcoins haven't, like, for example, they haven't lost all of their value yet. And for me, that's a pretty good sign, because when coins really start going down, they can lose 90% in a week or whatever. I've seen that happen plenty of times.
So true. No, we're not there yet. We're on that precipice. People are afraid of it, but until we actually get through it, it just all feels like noise to me still.
As far as some specific gainers and losers in that period, on the gainer side, Whitecoin is up a lot, 173%, coming in at
unbelievable,
pulling in rank 244.
That's awesome.
Data Wallet up 89%, Limpo up 71%, Buybox token up 65%, StakeNet up 57%, and BlockNet up 52%.
With this Whitecoin now has higher market cap than BlackCoin, which is just delicious. That's good crypto right there for you.
Yep. Because Whitecoin is a BlackCoin clone, essentially.
It's a direct knockoff that's been silent for years. Just funny stuff.
Well, cool. So yeah, good for some winners there. And then on the loser side, let's see, we got FuseX, Lunar, Tomo Chain, Mithril, Bytecoin, and Odyssey.
Guess those people hoping for that Bytecoin bounce weren't going to get it this couple weeks. All right. That really about sums it up for the markets. I'm waiting for alts to let go. Yeah, everyone's waiting for a capitulation move or something on Bitcoin to signal another end of the short-term downtrend from just the past couple weeks, or hopefully the bear trend from the whole year. But so far, we don't really have anything to look at.
Yeah, this current downtrend's been so short for me that I'm like definitely feeling at the very least complacent right now. As far as I don't know. I guess as far as my crypto portfolio goes, I feel positioned well enough that I'm not too concerned about Bitcoin continuing to go down. So it's easy to be prepared for these different scenarios. But I'm feeling like we're, not people aren't going to get those super low prices that they actually want, I guess is what I want to spit out.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I think people that are just looking at the 2014 fractal and are trying to get like an exact repeat of the magnitude of that, it doesn't really make sense for that to happen. But I guess I'm with you on the positioning thing. We're lucky that we have had older portfolios, because obviously I'd be a lot more stressed out about this if I was newer into crypto and had a way bigger drawdown, or didn't have the advantage of having coins from like 2016. They're up million X.
Maybe, but honestly, you've been when you were in similar situations back then, you weren't concerned because you hadn't put in the money that you couldn't afford to lose, like the first rule said. But the markets have been tough.
I guess if I'm a new trader right now, I think I would do a Bitcoin focused strategy. Forget about the fiat value, which I think if you're a well positioned trader, if you've got a good sized portfolio, I'm not somebody that thinks that's good advice. But in terms of like, if you're just trying to grind up or learn to grind out Bitcoins, this is a really great time to do it, and just forget about the fiat value. And eventually, if Bitcoin keeps going down, it'll be easier to get more Bitcoins. And then finally, when it bounces back up, no matter where it is, you should be decently positioned.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, let's move on to our next segment here.
That is going to be trivia. Trivia time.
Trivia. Once again, shout out to Bloc Audit. That's at blocaudit.org and blocaudit.org on the website. They provide code reviews, penetration testing, and they also do one-on-one consultation for developers. So check them out if you need any of those services.
This is the last week. This is all the wager. Giving up all the wagers. This is all we got left.
Yep, we want to thank him again for donating the wager. And so here is the question this week. The way this works, it's for live listeners. Tweet at Chain Dynamics. The answer, first person to do so, wins.
All right.
There is a token which shares its name with a region in Spain. How much Ethereum did it raise in its ICO?
Well, this is a complicated question. He's making them tougher.
It's a double question.
Yeah, it's like you got to pick up one piece and lead you to the other. So the question, once again, there is a token which shares its name with a region in Spain. How much Ethereum did it raise in its ICO?
And we'll continue on and just stop the show if somebody gets it before the end.
There you have it.
Interrupt.
All right, we're doing a coin spotlight segment this week. We've been visiting some ICOs for the past few weeks, so we're bringing it back home with just a good old-fashioned blockchain spotlight, new blockchain.
Yeah, that's right. This is called Amoveo.
Amoveo. All right, so what do we got here?
Amoveo.
That's right.
So what we got is a competitor for Augur, basically another predictions market. Interestingly created by somebody who's worked for both Augur and the Eternity project.
That is correct.
He's definitely a professional developer, which is nice.
The launch of this was interesting too. No Bitcoin Talk announcement. It was announced via Reddit and probably through the Eternity community. But essentially this guy split off from Eternity, and then I think this coin is a fork of Eternity. So he's essentially, for whatever reason, that project, I guess you could say, is split. And so now he's working on his own version of the product, but like Eternity, it's continuing the same spirit. The core of the product is that it's supposed to be for the settlement of insurance contracts. But the primary use case that they're going out with now is the prediction market situation that we have with coins like Rapinosis.
Definitely, like, from what I could gather, he seems to know a lot about the oracles, which are such an integral part into making these work, and they're so hard for me to wrap my head around sometimes. So that's a benefit of working on those projects prior, I think.
Yeah, the great question for me with oracles is like, how do they? Anytime you're reaching out into the real world, how does the oracle prevent somebody from spoofing the information that comes back? But
well, so
I'm sure these guys know a lot more about it than I do.
One thing that I think we got a winner here. Yep.
Oh, congrats.
ASLAAF. I'll get at you after the show. The answer to the question was, well, the first half of the question is that it is Aragon, ANT token, and they raised
Northeast Spain.
They raised 275,000 Ethereum. That is so much Ethereum.
That's such.
I think it was one of the largest crowdfundings of all time when it occurred, or something like that.
What an insane number that is. What are they doing with it? I mean, man, it would be sweet to have 275,000 now.
Yeah, it's hard to know. Some people are really good at spending money well, and other times they're not. That's definitely a huge part of it. But anyways, congratulations on that trivia question. We'll get back at you.
We will get you those wagers.
And in the meantime, we're talking about Amoveo.
I was complaining about oracles.
Yeah, and I was going to tell you one thing that they mentioned is basically the miners. Let's say that the oracle, basically it has three statuses that it could return, right? True, false, or bad question, I think is what the third one was, something like that.
Yep.
If one of those if it returns something that's incorrect, let's say, the miners and everyone actually still have the option, I guess, to go with a chain that has the correct answer on it. And through that mechanism is sort of how Amoveo hopes to avoid getting answers wrong, I guess you would say.
Okay, voting. It's a voting system, and there must be a voter incentive then, probably in the base token itself.
Well, for the miners themselves, basically, you could assume that following the chain that has the correct answers on it is the one that has the tokens that are worth money, and mining on any other chain is not worth your time. And so hopefully their incentive is supposed to shift to always mining on the truthful chain.
Right. So that's a situation where with Ether or something, it becomes a little bit easier to believe, because the ability to drive or to mess up the data on the Ethereum chain would be a lot harder. But on the other hand, we also have this problem where Ethereum isn't scaling and DApps are barely operable on it, right? So I am a believer and starting to become a believer in this idea of sort of like one smart contract, one chain per DApp almost. Like having a chain that can run infinite DApps might not be that great, but something like Eternity where it's one DApp and that's the focus of the entire blockchain could be good. Again, the chain attack situation right now is so interesting and still so much evolving so quickly that I'm curious to see how that model fares versus the Ethereum model of trying to do tons of DApps on the one chain,
Right. So we can talk about the mining of this coin a bit, I guess, then, huh?
Yeah, the mining is really, this is super low supply, which is always interesting to me.
Yeah, the coins are really expensive. Like OTC, I see them getting offered anywhere from $750 to $1,000, which is very high, I think, for a new coin. But that's supply and demand, right?
Yep, and the supply at this point is only about 30,000 total. So you're at that price, you're looking at a market cap of 21 to 30 million. Compared that to Eternity, which is at 700 million still. So you can see that the direct one-to-one valuation comparison still looks pretty good for it. The question, I guess, is this is new in mining, right? And Eternity, I don't know how old Eternity is exactly, but you could assume that they're both probably in a fairly inflationary stage. This coin in particular, Amoveo, has a built-in governance system, so things like the block reward and stuff can be changed by caveat through the governance system. It is decentralized. It's not just a totally in control of the developer, from what I can see at this point. But essentially the point being that what I'm driving at is that the inflation is still quite large and could potentially increase if the governance model goes for it. So if you're trying to do a one-to-one valuation comparison with Eternity, it's going to be hard because you have to project the market cap out based on the block reward and then see if it's going to be a fair comparison.
Okay, yeah, so that is a little bit unpredictable.
But yeah, so it was launched a couple months ago. Like we said, it wasn't on Bitcoin Talk, so there was the people that were familiar with the project were the people that got to mine it.
Yeah, it looks like some people found it on Reddit probably, or maybe through the Eternity itself, like you said.
Yep. The hashing algorithm itself is a slightly modified SHA-256 hashing algorithm, which for the time being makes it in theory a GPU algorithm, but because it's such a minimal variation from some of the big algorithms, I would be surprised if this already wasn't being hit by some specialized hardware, which doesn't mean you can't mine it. And
whether it's not being hit by specialized hardware, they are experiencing some serious mining power coming onto this network, and it looks like it's frustrating some of the people that were mining already.
Yeah, the latest is there's DDoS, alleged DDoS of the major pools, and then they're saying the Chinese are monopolizing the mining, which, again, that's an old story. We've been hearing that for a long time, and
there's just giant
chunks. It's often true.
Yeah, I mean, it's just becoming a bigger and bigger pool of people with more resources to throw at different opportunities. So it's just becoming really fierce.
And sometimes a DDoS can actually, people will think it's a DDoS, but it's just huge miners coming on. I've seen coins where somebody will put a nice hash on it, the pool goes down, and then the pool operator's like, "We've been DDoSed." It's like, it's just a a nice hash. An aggressive mining operation is not always easy to distinguish from a DDoS.
Right. Just like incessant Twitter posting isn't always distinguishable from bots.
Yeah, it's true. It's just the vague world that we live in.
Yep.
Cryptos. So yeah, really a lot of interesting stuff to look at on Amoveo. The level of this guy's clearly dumping a lot of work into it. The GitHub commits and stuff are nonstop. All of those kind of really solid core fundamentals for a new blockchain are there on this one.
Yeah.
Especially for the early miners, there's no question that this is going to be good. But with a valuation this high and a potential bear market coming, it's not anything that you would call a sure thing. Sometimes in spec mining, you do have the luxury of getting some new chains that could be called sure things. But this one's still definitely a risk, either from a mining or a buying perspective.
Oh, absolutely.
But that said, I really do like the level of development on it, the approach to bringing the prediction markets off of the Ethereum chain onto their own blockchain. I like that. I like the fact that the oracles are already working to some extent. All that stuff is really promising.
Yep. Well said. So that was Amoveo.
Amoveo. I don't have any yet, just full disclosure.
Neither do I. All right, let's take a look at some new coins.
Looking at those new coins, we've got a nice little stack of new coins to look at here. We haven't had too much time to audit this list. Usually I go back through and toss out the worst ones, so we'll just do that on the fly. First
up is Binarium.
Binarium. Is this like Ethereum for Binance?
Yeah, that'd be great.
It's the currency.
They're trying. Everybody at this point, I think, has started to find the value in tweaking the algos. This is just becoming super common now. But it's not stopping anybody from coming online with massive amounts of power, because the people that are writing the miners can tweak the algos just as easily as the developers if they aren't the same people.
It's cat and mouse. The developers create new algorithms, and the specialized hardware people then will create hardware that is increasingly flexible, So yeah, I wouldn't, just because this is a modified X11, you can't assume that it's not being hit with large hash. But like we said with Amoveo, that in and of itself isn't a bad thing.
Right.
What makes it good or bad is the actual level of development and innovation that the crypto is going to bring.
Yep.
So going back to Binarium, is there any actual development with it? Well, they do have that. So that new algorithm is kind of that first thing that you look for. It's the first little bit of effort. So I do like that.
Well, and then they want to tie it into being a gaming thing, but they don't. It seems very vague as far as the plans there.
The theme is bolted on to the to the underlying blockchain.
Right.
Looks like what we have here is a basic Dash clone with a tweaked algorithm, still keeping master nodes and all the other true to Dash things that make Dash what it is. And then they're saying it's for games.
Right, exactly.
Well, It's not any different than Dash, so that doesn't mean it won't have a value to it, but face value doesn't look good. I don't see any pre-mine right off the bat. Must be in there somewhere. If this didn't have a pre-mine or had a low enough pre-mine, I would say it would be a decent mining
It
choice.
looks like basically it was about a 15-week-old chain when they announced it. And
so it's not even new.
they got about 1.5 million coins approximately in the pre-mine, quote-unquote.
All right, that's too much. I'm over it.
All right, so another one is Essence.
Essence. Discover the essence of beauty. Woo.
Got some blue lips.
Apparently blue lips are the essence of beauty, according to this post. But this looks just like a scam coin.
Yeah, I don't like the trying to shock me but with how much money the beauty industry generates type of talk.
That's the same thing as the last one. It's just a coin with that theme, bolted onto it. There's this small, what they're calling a small pre-mine. Neoscript, masternodes, really generic, just another masternode one. There's too many of these.
All right, on to the next one, as Jay-Z says, and there is Platinum Core.
Platinum Core. All right, I like the name. They got me with the name. Okay, the account. This might not be new. Looks like it's a mixed proof of work, proof of stake, SHA algo with DPoS.
Pretty standard stuff here. I don't see anything too special. And
pre-mine. So yeah, this is a pretty generic proof of work, proof of stake coin with a longer length proof of work and a mixed proof of stake with an early pre-mine. I'm not seeing the master node in there. Maybe that's why I put this in here to begin with. But yeah, generic. Generic can be okay.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, 1% pre-mine is better than 52, right?
Yeah, but when it's on a super long proof of work, then it's disingenuous. You know how that is?
Oh yeah, sure do.
So, and they've also so one of the red flags for me, they calculate the pre-mine against the max money parameter, which is totally made up, right? Doesn't actually correlate to anything, so that's like a sign that the developer doesn't really know what they're dealing with.
So let's check out another one.
That was Platinum Core.
Up next is Nuyulux.
Nuyulux.
Nuyulx.
Alrighty, the distribution started on May 19th, they're saying.
It's got some master nodes. 80% reward goes to them, 20% to proof of stake.
Oh, that's too much right away. That's like an immediate no for me. Huge pre-mine. There's a lot of red flags on this one.
All right.
80%, right? We live in an era of chain attacks. To have 80% of your reward going to a node that doesn't add to the chain security is beyond insane at this point. Next up on the list here is ReefCoin. That's a no pre-mine, no ICO, no masternode pre-sales, fair launch. So they're hitting all of our...
They put it in big red letters too. They're
hitting all the bullet points that we like.
So we look a little further.
Cryptocurrency for marine life.
Nice.
Finally dolphins have a crypto that they can really get behind.
If we can teach any sea life how to use crypto, I think it's probably the dolphin first.
I think so too, but I think what's going to happen, the problem is we are going to teach dolphins to use crypto and they're going to adopt Verge. And it's just going to be so frustrating for everybody.
They'll just become a dominant force in the world's economy and just destroy everyone.
Dolphins are better at it.
Gotta watch out for them, dolphins. All right, but this coin, besides being based on aquatic life, wow, they have a big team picture section.
Yeah, they stocked up on team photos. It's always good to load up on team photos. But so they kind of had a fail to launch at first, and then they did a relaunch later, and the relaunch has stalled. The chain stalled at a certain block, and so now they're going to hard fork out to fix it. This is pretty typical. Kind of reminds me of some recent POW coins that have come out looking like this. I want to say stuff like, I don't know, maybe like Achilles or something that just kind of comes out. It's probably a short-term thing, I guess.
Right. Well, as we know, I mean, looking back through our episode outlines, there's just so many coins that don't make it anywhere at all. So the majority of the coins that we go through on the new coins just don't end up existing.
But that said, this is one that I would mine anyway if the timing was good. For instance, after this difficulty, the chain is stuck right now at some block because of some stupid mistake in the code or whatever. So if once they unstick it, the retargeting algorithm is going to go back in time and be like, holy crap, we haven't found a block in 90 million hours. It's going to adjust the difficulty down to the floor. So if you're like happen to be in position to catch those blocks, you're going to be in good shape, but that's pretty unlikely that you're going to be able to.
Yep. All right, so another one that we're taking a look at is RabbitCore.
RabbitCore.
What
Nice.
we got here? X16S.
They got a pre-sale. Over it.
Pre-sale.
You're
Bye-bye.
out of the list. Goodbye, RabbitCore.
Up next is Saronite.
Saronite. I recall the first time I looked at this, it just made me increasingly question my ability to even accurately assess these posts.
Yeah, is there something you liked about this one?
It's like everything looks nice, but I have a feeling that it sucks, and I can't.
What are they trying to
get
do
past
here?
it.
They got the CryptoNote protocol going.
They got CryptoNite heavy, so this is a tweak of CryptoNite that's used by a couple other coins. I think maybe this might be the one that Wownero uses, but I'm spitballing on that. So they plan to stay ASIC resistant, so that means they're committing to increased hard forks for new every time an ASIC comes out. They plan to introduce smart contracts into the blockchain, but don't worry, they're not there yet.
Okay.
6% development fee, which is getting to be on this uncomfortably high
6%
for
block
me.
fee. Wow. Okay, so this is, they're not really doing much or promising much at this point, I would say.
This looks alright. This does look alright for a crypto note. The dev fee is a little on the high side, and again, you want features that are a little more theoretical than you would like, but otherwise, it doesn't look too bad.
Not a bad looking CryptoNote coin of the week. Kryptonite heavy coin of the week.
Crypto note, yeah, got to elaborate.
All right, on to the next tier is BitMinerCoin.
BitMinerCoin. This is CryptoNite original, so this could be our CryptoNite original coin of the week.
Yep.
No block fee and no pre-mine, so I guess it's alright in that regard, but
Just no information. This is, yeah.
just a blockchain, really nothing else to say about it.
Yep.
Next up we have Cansecoin from baseball, famous
right.
baseball player Joe Canseco. He like announced the coin and then he's like, does anybody know how to make a coin? Does anybody know how to find a lawyer?
Oh, man.
I used to think that the crypto game would like rise up to meet what I perceived to be the higher standards of like the real world, like real world investments and stuff. But now I see that real world has always just been just as bad as crypto.
Yeah. I agree. I don't know anything I don't know anything about that baseball player, but yeah, that was a hilarious tweet to try to just start clearly just, Cansecoin. It's not even, doesn't even have a fake premise.
First
All
off,
right.
it's a token, so it should be Cansei token.
Cansei token. Yeah.
That's it. All right. It's all good.
I'm not impressed. It's amazing.
Yeah, what are the chances?
Yep.
Find a lot to not like here. Blockchain dynamics.
Up next is Verus. Verus.
All right, Verus. What's the tagline on this? ZK Snark Privacy CPU Mining 50/50 POW POS fair launch.
So this one
Right,
I
so
actually do like a little bit.
They're checking boxes for me here. Verus
Yeah.
is a fork of Zcash and Komodo that leverages Komodo platform. No pre-mine, no ICO.
I actually tried to get this going, but it was unsuccessful. I need to probably get some help from a chat room or something.
New algorithm.
Well, have you ever ran that Gamma wallet
Yes.
at all?
I have not.
it has-
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I barely do either, but I've ran it one time. I ran it one time when I was, getting Komodo coins, one time when I was getting my wireless coins, and then another time when I was trying to run this Verus coin thing.
Oh, that's the client for Komodo.
Yeah,
okay?
exactly. So basically, it has all and SuperNet's in there too. So it has like all of these different coins that are part of Komodo somehow under it. And I don't really understand it very well at all. But you can access the command line clients for all of those underlying coins, like if you're running them somehow through that one client. So it was pretty obvious to me how I was supposed to try to start mining, which was just by sending a pretty regular command in there. But
the set generate.
Yep, exactly. But it seemed like I don't have... Something's wrong with my Komodo configuration specifically is what I seem to be seeing. But I'll get...
It's like you're not getting into the Verus part of it. You're just piddling around on Komodo basically still.
Verus starts and launches for a second, and then it starts to try to sync, and then it crashes basically.
Oh, right.
But my experience does not seem to be the same as what a lot of people's is, because this coin seems to be mining pretty well.
This looks really good, man. We deal with a lot of crap, but then sometimes you see something that just looks nice. What I like about this is the fork that combines the Zcash and the Komodo elements is always a great play. I'm assuming that you can do the development to back it up. The announcement came before the start of the mining, which is always good. There's a lot of actual information about the coin and not a lot of bullshit in the post. Those are all just the kind of things that I like to see. So as far as coins to mine, and new algorithm again, this is going to be really good. So I would say that if you are looking for something to mine, is this CPU right now? Mainly CPU. So if you're looking for something to mine, or you're good at writing ad hoc GPU miners, I think that this would be a good one to look at.
Also, there's some interesting thing about the way that the coins, the early mined coins, are locked. Do you see that, Brando? Let me see if I can find the details again, because I don't normally see something like this, and I thought it was...
All rewards over 192 Verus are time locked to mature at a random block between 130,000 and 1.1 million.
Which is about, he said it was anywhere from like, I think it was like 3 months to 2 months and 2 years and 3 months, something like that.
This is awesome. I've never heard of this.
So basically that means that the early miners aren't going to be able to dump or they will be able to dump at random intervals between 3 months and 2 years to 3 months after the genesis. I thought that was pretty funny, or good.
They're going to get half of their coins randomly later in time. That is sweet.
Yeah.
That is a really hilarious mechanism.
And so then at some point, it goes back to a more quick maturation period. Do you see where that happens?
I don't see where that happens. So presumably, there's halving. So there's a block halving every month. So the block halving, after the first block halving, then none of the rewards will fall into that weird mechanism. So the rewards that will be affected by that will only be the first month of mining, which will be another 3 weeks or so from now.
So I think that is a nice attempt to kind of reduce the effectiveness of bogarting all of the initial mining by these giant organizations. But
it's genius, man. It's a forced total for all these early miners. This is really funny stuff. Cool. I like what I'm seeing on Verus.
All right.
Up next on the list is Bloc, B-L-O-C.
Block.money. Something about that makes me laugh. The .money makes me laugh. I don't think I've been to that extension before.
Welcome to Block.money. This has a huge pre-mine, and it's a crypto note heavy with a huge pre-mine. So for me, I guess I would rather just mine the last crypto note heavy with the pre-mine that we looked at, whatever that was, Saronite.
Yeah, there's so many to choose from. It's easy to be. It's easy to be, and nothing wrong with being picky. Another one out there is KashCoin with a
KashCoin.
K.
This looks like a high effort bullshit coin. They're like, look at our platform, but then that's all it is.
Looks like they really want at least a little mining, but they're not sure why.
Because it's a wallet builders.
Yeah.
Okay, so that coin there is KashCoin. Next up on the list is Metro.
Metro, they say decentralized exchange, airdrop, PowPass, GPU mining.
With a Kekek algo, this is a nice old school algorithm that it's low power consumption. It'll use up your whole GPU, but run cool. It doesn't use the whole power. That just means there's room to optimize it, and that the specialized hardware probably has a bigger advantage than in that case. But So it's a hybrid proof of stake based on NXT with proof of work with airdrop component. This looks pretty good too.
Do you see the airdrop details in here?
10% of the max circulation will be distributed to the NXT community. So it's an NXT snapshot.
Oh, okay.
Another NXT snapshot.
For each 10 NXT in your wallet of the snapshot, you'll get 1 MTR. And there's also a proof of work mechanism, is what they were saying. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, the KashCoin proof of work.
All right, well,
looks pretty good.
What was the last NXT snapshot? Can't remember now.
I think it was Ardor.
Okay.
No, was it Ignis?
Oh.
I think it was Ignis. Keep them coming. Those were all kind of like official ones. This appears to be just an independently done one. But,
yeah.
Dexes are good player. Dexes have been good plays. So especially if you're somebody who has NXT sitting around for many of the nth million past airdrops, I could see this being a decent play.
Another coin on the list here is Actinium. Actinium.
Actinium. I always like coins that are named after elements. This is number 89 on the periodic table.
Nice, and at least they're up. I like, even though this isn't like great for the coin being amazing, they're up front here that it's a Litecoin clone. So at least we know what we're dealing with right away.
I think that's literally all that we're dealing with here. Yep, it's a Litecoin clone, no pre-mine, no ICO, no developer rewards, just another good old-fashioned coin.
Okay.
I'm gonna be excited when they run out of actual elements and have to start getting into the theoretical elements. You know, like in the hundreds and stuff. Uniloctilenium coin.
That would be sweet. Let's look at one more new coin this week. It looks like NeckBeardCryptoTips.
NeckBeardCryptoTips. You're gonna want to get yourself some of these NeckBeardCryptoTips. They got the Neckbeard guy logo here.
Yep, he's even got the fedora on.
Let's see, it's a dark coin clone. They're calling it a dark coin clone, which is funny. I wonder if they cloned it from an old dark coin code base and not a newer Dash version.
Nice. The coin that is having massive 51% attacks in its third year or whatever, they cloned that one. Right. Which would be Verge now. Cool.
Let's see here.
What else they got?
It's a super high pre-mine, boring coin otherwise. Otherwise, a nice little meme coin.
Meme coin. Cool. NeckBeardCryptoTips.
NeckBeardCryptoTips. I think that's going to wrap it up for the new coins. Verus is really the standout for me. I didn't have much time to look at it yesterday, but I really liked it on the second look.
Verus looking all right. Of course, the Amoveo Spotlight we looked at a little bit later into its life, still good. I count that as a new coin. Why not?
Well, we missed it on our new coin section, so we kind of have to make up for our past failures.
And then, of course, Cansecoin, take my money.
Oh yeah, whatever you need, Canseco. Just let me know when you find that lawyer, I guess.
Heck, if he just wants me to buy him a car outright, we can just do that. Take him down to the dealership. We don't really need the money transfer. Okay, on to our coin listings.
Here we go.
Gemini listed, this is 2 weeks worth, I think. Gemini listed Zcash.
Nice little pump and full retrace on that. Gotta love that.
Yeah, that was really odd that people thought that was going to somehow be significant for a market the size of Zcash. I don't know where that came from. But yeah, it happened.
People were desperate for some good news when that good news came out. So they were I think eager to assume that the bear market might be over. Well,
and I think for Zcash fans, it lends to Zcash's credibility, or longevity as well. It's a good sign, but it wasn't price-wise. It wasn't going to make much of a difference. Binance.
If there's one thing I've never doubted with Zcash, it's the longevity. It's the price over time that I'm questioning.
Yeah. Binance listed TrueUSD, Zen, and Sky.
All right.
These guys are just feeding them. KuCoin listed Tomo Chain.
Gotta love that Tomo Chain.
Bittrex listed AidCoin, Storm, Naga, and Gifto.
Right on. Tokens, obviously.
Yep. Cryptopia listed global cryptocurrency, True USD, and EZ token.
Alrighty.
The homies over at Coin Exchange listed IBT Coin, NR1, Fitrova, Energy, Arbitrage, Overpowered Coin, OP Coin X, Skill Coin, HTML Coin, and Cryptocarbon.
Very good.
Finally, over on Livecoin, they listed Spindle, Carb, and Sping Coin. Yeah.
Well, I think the standout of all the listings has got to be Sping Coin.
I was pretty stoked on both Zen and Sky making it on Binance. That's pretty cool.
I got both of those bags, so I guess that's fine with me too.
And then I was a little bit HTML Coin on Coin Exchange caught my eye just because that was that. Do you remember a really old coin called HTML Coin?
Oh yeah.
That has super huge supply, I think, was its only thing. Yep. I think that this is a token that was swapped from that coin.
Okay, nice.
Is what I think.
Back on Coin Exchange.
Yeah.
All right. It's a good little set of listings there. Hopefully they keep them coming in the following weeks here. Next, we're going to jump into our coin birthdays segment.
Yeah, we like to wrap it up with a sweet coin birthday this week. 3-year birthday to Radium, the Rads.
Radium, Rads. What? This has had a few names. Was it Radon at first? I'll never remember.
Well, they've managed to keep their chain alive since 5/25/2015.
All right. Congratulations to Radium there on your 3-year birthday.
Yep. Let's see. Last year they were at 4,770 Bitcoin, which was $10.29 million market cap. This year they're at 1,898 Bitcoin, which is a $14.2 million market cap.
So they lost 2/3 of their Bitcoin value, but they're still up on US dollar.
Yep.
I guess that's how it works.
Year. So
Radium's one of those coins. It's just always in the background. I never have an angle on it. I never really know what's going on with it, but it's always there, surviving. And here it is. Here's 3 years.
Happy 3-year.
Congrats to the Radium crew. And I think that is going to wrap it up here for us at Blockchain Dynamics, episode number 95. Congratulations once again to the trivia winner.
Yep.
The answer was Aragon token for that.
Yep, and check out our archives at blockchaindynamics.net. This has been episode number 95. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week with way heavier bags.
Currency. Stack a couple Bitcoins. Pull up on my Nakamoto.